This is Michael Gervais, Michelangelo's Plumbing. We're at 3900 Kingswood Road, Sherman Oaks, California, performing a video sewer inspection through the 4-inch plastic cleanout. Looks like an ABS plastic cleanout in the driveway area right in front of the garage. We've run a preliminary inspection and we can see that there's a couple of breaks, several breaks. And there's one in the plastic ABS line right by the retaining wall. And this is the basketball court area and the driveway. And then we're going to turn around and this is the inside of the garage area. And we have a 4-inch ABS plastic mainline cleanout here. And we're going to start running down into this cleanout. We're going to zero out our camera. We've got it zeroed out. And we're going to begin running out. A little bit of water running right now. We're going to shut the water off right now, and we're going to wait for a moment for the water to subside. Try and get through here if we can. We may have to run water to get through certain areas because we did have some areas that had very large root intrusion. We have areas down in the vitreous clay down by the street that are cracked and broken. We're going to begin pushing through a little bit. This is all ABS plastic. We didn't see any issues in the ABS plastic itself. We only have one joint by the retaining wall where it starts to take a turn and starts to go down the hill at about 32 feet, I believe, somewhere right in that area, where we have some major root intrusion, which we should be coming up on now. All the plastic looks good here, making a turn. And that joint has some debris in there, but I don't believe we have any root intrusion from what we can see. Then we come back. We're back to about 32, 33 feet. We have major root intrusion right here. And we've marked this area out. Take a look real quick. We are right in front of the retaining wall, between the garage and the retaining wall at 4 foot 8 inches deep. So now we've got huge root intrusion here. We've barely got an opening for the water to flow through at the bottom. We were able to push through there earlier, and we got some debris built up on it. We got paper and such built up on it, and then we make a drastic drop right here. Make a drastic drop and make another turn, and we're going down the hillside. We look okay here. Those joints look to be in fair condition. Now we're running down the hillside, and all of the piping, as far as we can see, look to be in good condition going down the hillside. Come up on a couple more joints, and these joints look to be in good condition. Just over pour of glue. These joints look to be in fair condition. Still heading down the hillside. We're coming up on another turn. We're making another drop right here. They look to be in fair condition. Make another turn. And now we come into our transition from ABS plastic to vitreous clay. And again, we're about 90% restricted. We got a small hole at the bottom of the piping. So we're going to run in. You can see we got a lot of root intrusion in here. Then we come up to our next joint. We have root intrusion in our next joint as well. Minor root intrusion there, but we do have root intrusion. Our next joint, we have root intrusion. We also have cracks in the pipe. We have a lot of cracks in the vitreous clay. You can see all the cracks at the bottom. And you can see where the roots are growing right through the cracks in the pipe. So this pipe looks like it's cracked probably all the way around. It looks pretty extensive. And unfortunately, piping starts to crack like this. If we get some decent earth movement, at a 5 point something or maybe a 6, that piping can just crumble. There's no stability left in that piping. And we got a little bit of an offset right here as well in the joint, a little separation. Now we have a crack going down the piping here. You can see where the roots are growing down the piping. We have another offset right here at the next joint. A little crack there starting. Pretty good sized crack starting there, but that's not major at this time. Then the next joint, we have a pretty large offset right there and a pretty good crack too. Got a pretty good crack all the way around the crescent shaped crack from about the 5 o'clock area to about the 11 o'clock area. As we get closer, you can see that crack in the pipe right there. And then you have a large offset, and then we drop into the city sewer. So this piping's in pretty poor condition, and there is an awful lot of trees in the area, a lot of tree roots. I would say that this would not be a candidate for a liner, that this should be pulled trenchlessly possibly or replaced by excavation, because this line's in poor shape. If you put a liner in, I don't believe it's going to hold up for maybe a few years before the roots get back into the liner. Okay, we're going to start pulling back, and we'll, like I said, right here we have a very large offset of separation and what appears to be a crack in the pipe right there. Not in good shape right there. And then we pull back, we got a crack in the face of that piping, and you see it's going in a little bit. That more than likely will, we get a little tiny bit of movement, that piece is probably going to pop right out of there. We're going to have a chunk pop out of that pipe. It's cracked both ways from where that little round circle is in the pipe right there, back to the face of the pipe. Now pulling back, and we have roots growing through the pipe, and we have a lot of cracks. There's a good sized break right there, right off the area, about the 3 o'clock area to the 5 o'clock area. You have a good sized chunk right there that's really cracked badly. Some more cracks going along the pipe right there. You have roots growing through the piping on both sides of the piping. It's just cracked all over the place in that bottom of the pipe right there. Now we have a pretty good break right here. As you can see, you have a piece missing out of it right there and just cracked and broken. And you have a big old chunk of roots right there growing in, where most likely the piping may be missing right there as well, a chunk of the piping. Have a lot of cracks in that piping, a lot of breaks. We have more root intrusion coming through the piping on the top, which we can't even see. And that's not a joint, that's actually coming right through the piping right there. Then we're pulling back, and we have another joint that's offset, and just that joint's in real bad condition. Whole lot of root intrusion. We can't even see the condition of the joint exactly. We know that it's not in good condition, not as large as the roots are. And then we have huge roots coming in at the 4 to 6 inch connection right here. As we pull back up, all of our ABS plastic appeared to be in pretty good condition. Didn't see any issues with the ABS plastic until we get back up to about the 33-foot mark or 32-foot mark right in front of the retaining wall. Pulling back. All this ABS plastic looked to be in good condition. That's why we're pulling back pretty quick. We looked at it real close. Going out, making a turn, coming back up, making another turn. Now we're coming back to our root intruded area right here where we actually just went through. And that's just compacted with roots. See that top root, that feeder root at about the 10 o'clock area is very large. It's a big white root right at the top. It's a very large root. And just this area is compacted. ABS plastic, for roots to get into, has to be broken. You cannot, it doesn't just crack a little bit, it's broken. So that area needs to be repaired. And now we're pulling back. Going to pull back all the way to the mainline cleanout now. We have a long length of plastic. Then we're going to conclude our video sewer inspection in this area. And then we're going to possibly run through some other cleanouts that we found as well. Are pulling up the cleanout, and we're out of our cleanout. Gonna just wipe our camera lens off, get a little debris off of there. Then we're going to pause for a moment.